everyone. I am Shashikant Iyengar from India. You can call me Shashi. I am a certified metabolic health coach with over 35 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry, having worked with companies like Abbott and Pfizer. For most part of my career, I always promoted medications for diabetes, hypertension, and other chronic conditions until my own diagnosis of type 2 diabetes hit me. Today, I am a founder of Metabolic Health India. I also co-founded Reclaim Health India, where we all coach individuals globally, especially ethnic Indians, on how to reverse chronic disease like diabetes, obesity, insulin resistance, hypertension, using low carbohydrate nutrition or even ketogenic nutrition. I also co-organized India's first low-carb conference called as Metabolic Health Conference and successfully executed 3 conferences along with my guru Anup Singh. What I'm going to share today is not just what I learned, but how I learned and how I lived with it and how I'm living with it. I am deeply honored to be part of this global gathering hosted by Tracy. Thank you, Tracy, for bringing all of us together, and these voices will be heard across the world. Today, I want to share my lived journey, not just what I know, but how I came to know about it, the challenges I faced, the barriers I broke through, and the unexpected gifts I discovered along the way. This is a story of how I moved from diabetes diagnosis to complete remission, from pharmaceutical sales to coaching people towards better lives. Back in September 2015, I was accidentally diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My HbA1c was 7.2, fasting blood sugar over 150, and postprandial 252 milligram per deciliter. Despite decades in pharmaceutical sales, I was blindsided. I always thought I knew everything about health. I thought I was safe, but diabetes shook me to the core. It was like a thunderbolt. I perhaps assumed with pride that nothing will happen to me, even though I had a strong family history of type 2 diabetes. The diagnosis was a wake up call. I felt surprised, I felt exhausted, I felt anxious, I was afraid. I was afraid about the complications. I was worried about the burden I'll be on the society, on my family. I was worried about the future, which was no longer now in my control. So, as usual, as with everyone, I visited my family doctor. And as expected, he prescribed metformin and said, let's reassess after a month or 2 months. So, but something inside me resisted. For the first time, I was not satisfied with the conventional approach. Until then, I believed, like most do, that diabetes meant lifelong medication. It was progressive, and medication has to be taken. Medication will keep on increasing. Reversal was not even heard of, or it was not even considered. I've been selling anti-diabetic medications for more than 2 decades. And initially, I thought the time has come for me to take them for life. But this time, I felt a spark of curiosity, a whisper inside me, a small bird, a small voice was saying that there must be surely another way which I never thought of, something which I may not be aware of, and there's a possible alternative. I began searching the internet. And as we say, I Googled or Dr. Google helped me. I came to understand a lot of therapies like Ayurveda, homeopathic, and Siddha medicine, which are all indigenous to Siddha medicine is indigenous to India. But every approach offered something or the other, either some pills or herbs, more pills. I didn't want to take all those. I wanted to heal completely, probably via nutrition. I read about acupuncture and acupressure, but was not too convinced. So my mind was racing towards a nutritional approach. Maybe something we eat or something we don't eat may be the solution. And then while searching, I stumbled upon the concept of low carbohydrate nutrition, known as LCHF, low carbohydrate, high fat diet. At first, I thought it is very radical. Wherein we told to eat lot of healthy carbohydrates and avoid fats. How can anyone eat lot of fat and still be healthy? Will it not make me more fat? Will it not cause heart disease? But I kept researching and I came across the science that challenge everything. Now, while searching for all these, I came across India's oldest and largest low-carb community called D-Life in, where I connected with Anup Singh. So he's the one who taught me about LCHF, low carbohydrate, high fat diet, and how it can help in reversing diabetes, lose weight also. And there were other mentors like Arun Kumar also there who helped me. Their work was rooted in data and experience, and it helped me unlearn and unlearn. I began by taking very small and steady steps. I kept reading. I did more research and discovered that long back, maybe 200 years prior also, low carb was the standard approach. Whenever anyone has diabetes, and this approach was used before the discovery of insulin and anti-diabetic drugs. Low carbohydrate, getting off all these starchy foods and meat heavy diet were the way to go. Being a vegetarian, I was wondering how to adopt this to an Indian diet. And I learned more about this from the D-Life in community. Letting go of grains, the very foundation of Indian meals, was daunting. I call Indians as grainitarians. In India, we always keep telling that we are vegetarians and non-vegetarians. Vegetarian in India means those who take dairy products. And non-vegetarian means those who take egg, meat, fish, chicken, and everything. So there are no vegans. India never had vegans. So when we say vegetarians, that means we are all taking dairy products. Now, Indians take tons of grains in their meal plate. Every meal and every grain, every meal, every snack has grains in it. That's why I coined the term that whether we are vegetarians or non-vegetarians in India, we are all grainitarians because 70-80% of the plate is filled with grains. Now, how can I stop eating something on which I grew up? As I told earlier, that every meal, every snack involved grains. But I thought, let me give a try. If I fail, medicines are always there as an option. I slowly began lowering grains and I added up more proteins. Now, what are the protein a vegetarian will add in India? It is Indian cottage cheese or paneer. It was cheese and also yogurt. Everyone loves yogurt here. Yogurt is very, very common. So I started using what is called as drained yogurt or Greek yogurt. I was initially a bit low on protein, even though I consumed additional fat like butter and ghee. Slowly, I realized the trick is to eat more protein-rich food along with a lot of low-starch vegetables and nuts. For the first time in years, I added a bag egg to my diet, which is something which I used to eat when I was a kid in school, but somehow I very rarely ate it. I also replaced the refined seed oil we were using at home with ghee and butter. No more sunflower oil, no more rice bran oil. I had read that they were inflammatory and can worsen insulin resistance. In fact, studies have shown that they might be the causative factor for insulin resistance and possibly they are a big problem in India. So this was a seismic shift, not just for me, for the entire family. Back in 2015, hardly anyone knew about low carbohydrate lifestyle. It was not easy to convince my family and friends. They were worried. They thought I lost my mind. They were sure that fat will cause heart attack and protein will damage kidney. How can someone not eat grains? But I told them, let me try this for a few months. And if it doesn't work, I'll go back. I'll start taking medication. I will eat the usual way, a lot of rice and rotis and all. So it was my way of buying time and buying some peace. I started slowly cutting down the carbohydrates to around 100 grams per day, net carb. So this is what Anup Singh has taught. And gradually increase protein. And also embrace healthy fats, as I told earlier. Ghee and butter were my cooking fat. We also use coconut oil as cooking fat. I also prioritize my sleep and walking as a form of exercise. So due to the nature of my job, I used to get very less time, but nevertheless, I took out some time to walk. And the results are astounding. My HbA1c, which was 7.2, dropped to 5.2 in just 3 months. My weight went down from 69 to 59. and I am now around 63. I am a lean Indian toffee guy, thin outside and fat inside. I had central obesity. I had grade 1 fatty liver, which got diagnosed probably a year back before I got diagnosed with diabetes. I am currently underweight. So typical of an Indian, we are all underweight. We have low body mass also. But in these 3 months, my energy soared. My brain fog lifted. I felt more active. I felt more alive. No more post-meal sleepiness. And something deep inside happened. I understood for the first time the difference between just treating the lab numbers to truly healing a human being. During the time of diagnosis of diabetes, coincidentally, I also got diagnosed with a lot of other bone and joint issue. For example, osteoarthritis, tendinitis, cervical spondylitis suddenly appeared. And I had frozen shoulder. In fact, my left hand wrist was also like almost frozen. The full mobility was not there. But all this began fading. In the next 6 months, 9 months, osteoarthritis got resolved. It is still there, but there's no pain. Tendinitis disappeared. Cervical spondylitis, fortunately, I didn't have to take any painkiller for that. It just gradually began fading away. My wrist, the full mobility was recovered. And even the frozen shoulder, I did some physiotherapy exercises and gradually it faded. I didn't even expect this. But the path is not easy. In India, carbohydrates are everywhere. Rice, roti, sweets, snacks. And again, my family feared that if I would die by not eating grains. Friends said, you're crazy, you're weird. And wherever I read in the articles, in the lay press, everyone said that you need carbohydrate. Your brain needs carbohydrate to function. And as a pharma professional, my shift towards nutrition-based healing raised eyebrows. Everyone thought, why is he not taking medication? It's easy to take there are a lot of new medications available now. But I kept going because I saw the result and I felt the change. I was always being a vegetarian like most of us in India. I chose to add eggs because they offered complete protein and healthy fats. I think there's an important point which everyone in India has to realize. This decision alone brought enormous improvement in strength, satiety, and even my appearance. I started looking much better. Eventually, I brought down the carb to a ketogenic level of 30 grams. So many times I'll be between 30 to 50 grams per day. And I settled into eating just 2 meals a day. A very large breakfast and an early dinner. One unexpected benefit of being on a ketogenic diet is improvement in my tinnitus. I always had this loud ringing in my ear, tinnitus, and no doctor could do anything. But as I entered low carbohydrate and from low carbohydrate to ketogenic level, it began fading away. So my tinnitus is only to the extent of maybe 20-25% of what it is originally. And I can stay with this. And I did read a lot of people have experienced complete disappearance or at least partial remission of tinnitus when they do low carbohydrate or even ketogenic diet. But at social gathering, I often felt I was a misfit. I would order different foods. People looked at me as if I was some odd. Even then and even now, people keep advising me, why don't you take a pill and enjoy life? But I knew that I will start with one pill as with all and graduate to multiple pills and also insulin shots in the next 10 to 15 years possibly, or even 2 decades. So according to me, this is a trade-off. Some call it sacrifice and I call it freedom. To keep myself motivated, I stayed active in the D-Life community and kept reading everything I knew I could about low carbohydrate nutrition, blogs, studies, research, and conference videos. Videos from thought leaders like Dr. David Unwin, Professor Tim Noakes, Paul Mason, Dr. Eric Westman, Dr. Finney and Wallach, Jason Fung, Nina Teicholz, Dr. Ben Bickman. All these great personalities, their videos which were 45 minutes to 60 minutes video, only strengthened my belief in low carbohydrate nutrition. Going low carb is like going against the tide. Like a salmon, I chose to swim against the tide, not for the ease, but for the purpose. It may have been difficult, but then I had a purpose. I was convinced. And then came the biggest transformation of all. I found a purpose in life. I translated my success of reversing diabetes and helping other families and friends, improving their diabetes, hypertension, and weight issues. So some of the cases which I recall when I helped my family as friends were I helped my cousin come off 70 units of insulin and also reversed his raised microalbuminuria. He also had faced significant weight loss. So he was a diabetic for quite a long time, type 2 diabetic, and then when his microalbuminuria reached 100, he met his doctor, but doctor could only say that okay, you control your blood sugar and will maintain this. He was not convinced, and then he came to me, and I made him adopt low carbohydrate ketogenic diet. Within 3 months, he not only got off insulin, but also got off his microalbuminuria dropped from 100 to 6 units. His mother, my aunt, she also adopted a low carbohydrate diet, and she's a vegetarian. She doesn't even eat eggs. She eliminated around 70% of her anti-diabetic and hypertensive medications. It is now almost 5 years. She is still following low carbohydrate diet, having a fairly good control and 70% less medication. I had an office colleague who was taking 4 blood pressure medication. So even after taking 4 blood pressure medication, his BP was not under control. And when he met his cardiologist told him that it's time for you to take one more medication. Now, this person, he knew that I knew something about dietary ways to control metabolic disorders. When he came to me, I put him on a low carbohydrate diet, and slowly, gradually, within next 3 months, he could eliminate all the pills with the help of his doctor. Till today, his doctor was surprised how we managed to get off all the 4 pills. It is now around 6 years. He's still not having any pill, and he's maintaining a fairly good low carbohydrate approach. I also helped one of the relatives control her insulin resistance and pre-diabetes. She was having age-related macular disorder, AMD, which was progressive. And she used to visit the ophthalmologist every 3 months. When I shifted her to low carbohydrate and ketogenic diet, mind you, she's a vegetarian, no eggs also. We managed to stop the progression of AMD in its tracks. Insulin resistance normalized, pre-diabetes disappeared. Her blood sugars are very normal now. Insulin is low, and AMD has just stopped progress. In fact, she's able to see much better. And what next? So I thought, why not get certified in this field? I got my certification. The first was a low carbohydrate sports nutrition certification. And then I also did few courses from Nutrition Network. I also completed low carbohydrate nutrition diploma from India's only CPD accredited platform, that is DLife. And later on from Nutrition Network, I completed the prestigious Nutrition Network coach practitioner certification also. I also did Georgia Eats ketogenic diet for mental health certification. Then one day, I took a very big decision of my life. I decided to quit pharmaceutical sales after 35 long years working with 32 years. I was in Abbott and a couple of years in Pfizer. I thought I'm now going to quit and step into coaching full time. It was a calculated risk, but a big one. I had to give up a stable job and that regular monthly salary, which comes on 25th of every month, to an uncertain future with no guaranteed income. I was insecure initially, but I was determined. I had already built a big reputation in India as a low carbohydrate advocate, and I wanted to capitalize on that. I remember my last day of working in pharma was 22nd November, which is also the World Diabetes Day. I announced on social media that I'll be available for low carb coaching, and slowly people started approaching me. I built a solid reputation as a scientific, sensible voice, especially on Twitter, which is now known as X. Many medical doctors were also following me silently for a few years. I was very popular with the international low carb advocates also. All the big names whom you know, they also know me. Clients started slowly enrolling, and even a few doctors referred their patients to me. I started posting success stories everywhere, and this created a ripple effect. Today, in just 2.5 years, I'm very happy to say that more than 40 medical doctors themselves enrolled with me for diabetes reversal or weight loss. And I consider this as a big success. I've been meeting these doctors for 35 years and promoting pharmaceutical products to them. I feel so happy and contented when they come to me for nutritional advice. I had spent more than 35 years meeting doctors, as I told again with pharma brands. So, so this is, this is a definition of success, is what I feel. So when I left the job, I founded Metabolic Health India, which is a proprietary company to coach clients on reversing chronic illnesses through low carb nutrition and ketogenic nutrition, diabetes, weight loss, hypertension, mental health illness, cancers, neurological illness also. I also co-founded Reclaim Health India along with two friends to focus on sustained weight loss, along with the for added benefit of exercise. I have worked with hundreds of clients globally, mostly from US, Europe, Australia, Middle East, and even from New Zealand. But they are all ethnic Indians. Why they come to me? Why not the local coaches? Because they feel that I will understand them much better. Our food, our emotion, our struggle, our idiosyncrasies, they know that local coaches often don't get it, but I do. In India, we have a very strange, you might think that it must be very strange, but for us, it is very common that even non-vegetarians, they will avoid non-vegetarian food on certain days. Certain days are designated to certain gods. Like on Monday, they will not have non-veg, or Thursday, or on Saturday. They will have non-veg only on 3 days a week. So we understand all these, and we tailor make all our dietary advices accordingly. So all these eccentricities, idiosyncrasies, something which only we understand. Not only this, but the dietary practices changes every 100 kilometers in India. The language changes every 100 kilometers in India. The people in North will have a different dietary practice. People in West different. People in South different. People in East different. So we'll have to understand this and recommend food accordingly. One of the greatest joys in my life is now helping others reclaim their health. It's a sense of fulfillment when I see others improve blood sugar numbers simply by changing what is there on the plate. I feel a big thrill every time a client tells me that they have reduced or completely off medication. Imagine the happiness when someone who was living with type 2 diabetes for years and decades comes and tells me, I never thought I'll get off insulin, but I did. I felt that I got my life back. It is not just about lab report. It is the sparkle in their voice, the hope in their words, and the freedom in their tone. Clients often share, I have more energy than I had for years. My skin is glowing. My skin tone is better. My double chin has disappeared. My digestion has improved. No more acidity, no more GERD. I don't have to carry antacid pills. I never imagined food can change so much. Some people even come and tell me, you saved my life. Some even mention that long-standing complication, for example, neuropathy or even possibly skin darkening inflammation begins to fade. Fatigue is gone. They feel more active, more energetic. Someone tells me that their energy is same as that of when they were in school or college. All of this not because of any pill, but because of better nutrition. It is these moments, late night messages or even early morning updates, joyful phone calls, that I feel that my pain actually had a purpose. That my journey was not only for me, it was meant to help others also. Recently, together with Anup Singh of DLife.in, I had the privilege of co-organizing India's first local conference called Metabolic Health Conference. I co-organized second and third one also. These were landmark events that brought together the global leaders, cutting-edge research, and irreplaceable power of lived experience. It's a dream come true. Something we envisioned in 2017 became a reality in 2023. Yes, dreams do come true sometimes. These weren't just conferences, they were emotional milestones. We created a space where doctors, researchers, coaches, and individuals across the globe came together, not to just present data, but to share their own stories of healing, courage, and transformation. It was surreal to see Indian voices and Indian solution taking a center stage in the global conversations on metabolic health. For the first time, we were not just following, but we were leading. No one in India could do low-carb conferences. We were the first one to do. And I'm happy to be one of the pioneers in doing this. We were saying, look, even in a country like India, with the deep cultural ties to high-carb food like grains, healing is possible. Low carbohydrate ketogenic diet is possible in India also. And for me personally, to go from a patient to a coach to standing on a virtual stage as an organizer, co-organizer, hosting global experts, I felt that life has come to a full circle. Every conference was a celebration, not just of science, but of human resilience. Being part of that movement, along with pioneers like Anup Singh, remain one of my meaningful chapters in my journey. Big thanks also to my colleague Ira Sahai, who has who has hosted, who is the lead host of the conferences very, very successfully in all the three events. In June 2024, I attended first ever international low carb conference, Keto Live conference in St. Moritz, Switzerland. This was a dream moment for me. Meeting in person all those big personalities like Dr. David Unwin, Dave Feldman, Peter Ballestedt, Dr. Matthew Phillips, Nicole Lohang, Dr. Marilla Gland, and many more. It was like, you read those Superman, Batman in comics, and suddenly you're seeing them in live. Special thanks at this stage to Dr. Nigel Casali of Ireland for making this happen for me. What once felt like a curse has now become my ikigai, my reason to wake up with energy, my purpose, and my passion. What is ikigai? Ikigai is what you are good at, what you love doing, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. So I am living my ikigai today. This journey taught me something that no textbook could ever teach. Lived experience matters. It is not just about head knowledge, it's about heart knowledge. It's about walking the path, falling down, failing, and getting up again, and lighting the way for others also. If you are struggling with chronic disease, let me tell this to you. You are not broken. Your body can heal. You are not alone. We are a global movement reclaiming health one life at a time. When I started low carbohydrate back in 2015, people never used to think it is evidence based. But now we know that low carbohydrate nutrition is also approved by the leading global authorities in the diabetes space. American Diabetes Association, ADA, also recognized low carbohydrate nutrition as a part of MNT, medical nutrition treatment, back in 2019. Diabetes Canada is also approved of a low carbohydrate diet back in 2021. And we all know recently that Diabetes Australia also has included therapeutic carbohydrate restriction as an evidence-based approach. So we have all the leading authorities in the world who are endorsing low carbohydrate nutrition, especially for diabetes. Obesity Medicine Association, USA, already has recognized ketogenic diet or even low carbohydrate diet as a solution for obesity. Now, recently we have seen a lot of studies are coming out, even from Stanford and from Harvard trained doctors of the application of ketogenic diet in mental health disease like schizo or bipolar disease. Dr. Thomas Seyfried, a leading authority on the use of ketogenic diet in cancers. So we are now seeing the application of all these and also studies being released. So this is only confirming what we have been doing long time. Thank you for listening to my story. And at this stage, big thank again to Anup Singh of DLife.in for introducing me to low carb nutrition and launching India's first diploma in this space. Big thanks to Nutrition Network for their world class certification, which is a constant support for me. And again, big thanks to you, Tracy, for inviting me to share my lived experience and for creating this beautiful local community, global community. Let's all keep sharing stories because every story we tell is a story that can heal. And every healed life becomes a light for someone in the darkness. Thank you very much.